bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Big felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a 10. Like Gabby, Stacy, Yuki. All of the Barbies is pretty. Damn, all of the Barbies is.
Hey guys, welcome back to Star TV. On today's lovely episode, we're going to be talking about how to heal and how to connect to your inner child. Right before we get into today's lovely video, make sure you guys subscribe to Star TV where you get a new episode every week. Make sure you guys like this video, drop a comment down below, let Star know what you think, and be sure to hit the bell down below and press all so you will be notified each and every time Star posts a new video. Let's get right into it. So tip number 1 on how to heal and how to connect to your inner child is this. Take yourself back down memory lane and remember all of the childhood memories that made you happy. Think of how you can relive that and recreate that in your adult life. Let me share something with you guys. So as I always tell you guys, I've been working with children for years now. I love kids. I've always been led to work with children. Now I currently teach pre-K 4 and 5-year-olds. And one thing that I noticed about children, and we used to be just like this as kids, they are so happy. They're happy to just be alive. They're happy to just exist. They're happy to just go outside and smell the fresh air and breathe and interact with their friends and play. Joy in the most simplest of things. Joy in just going to recess. Joy in just seeing a butterfly and chasing it. Joy and laughter in just running from a bee. I come into work in the morning and I see the kids at their centers. They're playing with their toys and they're just so happy and they're laughing and their laughter is so infectious that it makes me laugh. And then I think back to us as adults. You see other adults outside, everybody is moody, all the women are very catty. Even in New York, when I used to live in New York, you see your neighbor and nobody speaks to each other, nobody greets each other. Everybody is unhappy, and then it just makes you think, where did we go wrong? Where did we as adults, when did we lose our zeal for life? When did we lose our passion and our love, just, being alive? We were once children who were happy with the little things. Why are we so unhappy now? Why don't the simple things make us happy anymore? And how can we go back to that? Nowadays, you never see adults happy, to speak with strangers, happy to interact with strangers. You never see adults happy because they just have to go outside and smell the fresh air. Why don't we as adults appreciate and value the small things that God has given us, like how we did when we were a child?
Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not. For of such is the kingdom of God. Verily I say unto you, whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a little child shall in no wise enter therein.
Something that I realized, you guys, we're doing so much inner self-work and just trying to connect with my inner child. I realized that some of my most happiest moments as a kid was going on school trips, being in summer camp, playing with my friends, running in the grass, going to Bear Mountain, to the swimming pool, going upstate, going to the farm, riding horses, riding bikes. taking swimming lessons, being in nature. So as an adult, I noticed that I wasn't feeling happiness. I wasn't feeling fulfillment in my life until I recreated these moments. So now I take long walks, near the woods. Now I'm making plans, you guys, to, get back rock climbing, start riding horses again. Just doing the things that used to make me happy. And I've even made a vow, that this summer, I'm not waiting on anybody. If I want to go somewhere, I'm going. So that's what I want you guys to do. What were your favorite childhood moments? What made you happy? Whatever that was, I want you to start doing that now as an adult. If you were a basketball player in elementary school and you were so happy doing that sport, and you notice as an adult you don't feel that happiness anymore, start back playing basketball. If going outside and taking a nice walk in the park, being around nature, or going horseback riding, or riding scooters, or riding bicycles, if that's what made you happy as a kid, incorporate that into your routine now. When you were a kid, going outside made you happy. Now you're depressed, you're isolated, and you're stuck in the house. Try to coordinate activities. It can be only you. You don't have to depend on people. Take yourself places and live in the moment and breathe and fight for your inner child. Fight for your happiness. Recreate those memories that made you feel full and whole as a child, because a lot of us are suffering and a lot of us don't feel good because we are neglecting our inner child. We're not doing what made us happy from the very beginning. Let's get into tip number 2. You have to take time to heal. So I need you to remember the most painful and hurtful encounters you had as a child and process those emotions, because it will affect your relationships as you get older with adults. So if you were a child and you were bullied, I was also one of those kids, who was bullied all throughout school for years. And I noticed, when you are bullied, when people make fun of your appearance and your looks, sometimes it causes a person to not only become insecure, but to become timid. So when you're an adult and people compliment you, you may say thank you and show gratitude, but you're not able to truly grasp and receive that. So remember all the hurtful things that happened to you as a child and process that, feel that, release it, let it go, and try to realize and recognize how it is affecting your adult life. Some people grew up in life and maybe, your mother and your father wasn't around. That can also affect your romantic relationships. As a child, if you were friends with people who betrayed and backstabbed you, you may grow up and self-isolate and not be a social butterfly and have no friends, and you think something's wrong with you, but it's just that inner child wound that you have yet to heal. A lot of the problems we face today as adults is because there was a wound that we allowed to fester and grow, and we band-aided instead of going in and performing that emotional and that spiritual surgery that we need to heal, to grow, and to move past it. For instance, some children were exposed to domestic violence growing up. These children grow up to have nightmares and they still dream about their parents fighting, or they start to become a very anxious person, a person who has anxiety, a person who stays clear of the opposite gender, or even a person who in fact becomes very violent and angry themselves. Everything that you witness and experience as a child will affect you. And for some reason, the things that we go through as children, not only do we relive it and we randomly think about it, but oftentimes, sometimes, it's so hard to forget. One thing I noticed is as an adult, it's so easy to forget everything that happens even if it just happened 10 minutes ago. But as a child, things that happen when you're a child, you remember it and you take it with you, and it goes nowhere, but it lives in your mind.
I brought my nephew here to Paris with me because I heard him speaking French, and he was fluent, and it was so shocking to me. I love him so much, and I figured this would be a really good memory for him to spend Easter with his father in Paris at 6 years old.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That is a Jules jump.
This is a time where your memories really, really stick with you for the rest of your life. So I wanted to be able to give him that memory with his dad. I know how important that is.
Yes, Beyonce?
Let's have a race.
You gonna have a race? All right, get on the mods, get set, go.
Let's get into tip number 3. Tip number 3 is actually my favorite one. I'm going to do this. I wanted to do this on camera, but I figured it would be, you know what, guys? I'm gonna do it on camera. Let me go get it. Okay, you guys, so I'm back from my little commercial break. This is tip number 3. Heal your childhood wounds. Hold up a picture of yourself as a child and speak to yourself. Speak life over yourself. Speak healing over yourself. Speak positivity and encouragement over yourself. And give yourself a message. If you could speak to your inner child, if you could speak to the little girl or the little boy that you were 15, 20 years ago, what would you say? I want you to say just that. So here is my message to my inner child, because we are doing the healing work together. So this is me, guys, when I was younger. And if I could speak to my inner child, I would say, you are beautiful. You have an amazing heart. You have a bright future. You are destined for greatness. I need you to remain confident, because a lot of people will try to destroy that. You shine such a bright and marvelous light, and you are called to heal people. You are called to inspire people and to encourage people and to be a light in such a dark room, be a light in a dark place. Many people will come and go, but know that people are experiences and people are sometimes there for a season. I need you to not listen to what people say about you. Not everybody will like you, and not everybody will accept you. But as long as you are loved by God, and as long as you are in good standing with family and you cherish the good times in your life, you have nothing to worry about. There will be so many discouraging moments. There will be so much pain, but know that you have to experience this. So when you preach to people, when you preach to the broken, when you preach to the lost, you're able to relate to them on a different level. And one more message I want to give to my inner child. You live. You live life to the fullest. You don't stop your life for people. You don't stop living because people have left. You go on and you move forward, and you keep shining and you be positive. You tune out every negative voice and you stay focused, because there is nothing that you cannot do. And know that your experiences are not for you, they are for other people. One day, many people will know who you are. One day you will have an empire. Success is your portion. Allow God to take you through the process. You're beautiful. Enjoy your life. Cherish your friends. Cherish your family, and know that brighter days are ahead. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. It was so hard for me not to cry. It was so hard for me not to cry, but I was just telling myself, you know what, Star? Don't start crying on this camera, because you just keep it together, okay? But that was very heartfelt and emotional for me. And if you guys need to do that and speak to your inner child, do that. It's an amazing experience, because even though you're no longer a child, on the inside, you're speaking to that little girl who was left out. You're speaking to that little boy who people try their best to destroy. Let's get into number 4, which is the last and final tip. You have to write down what you witnessed as a child. You have to write down what you were exposed to and how it affected you. One thing I notice about life is we have to make peace with the things that we cannot change. We got to make peace, with the experiences that were not so positive. Peace with the past, peace with people who we no longer relate to. Peace with those who left us. You got to make peace with life and make peace with where God has you. So sometimes you have to vent. Sometimes you have to write it down. Sometimes you have to create a diary or create a safe space, maybe in your phone, and just write down how you feel. And when you write it down, let that act as a form of releasing it. And after you're done, burn the paper, destroy it, rip it up, and know that that chapter in your life, that season is over. I just want to encourage you guys to know that brighter days are ahead. It does not matter what you went through. Sometimes the experience was not for you, but God knew that you were going to talk about it, and someone who would be in your place would need that encouragement. Know that everything that happens in life is temporary. And this is why I take teaching so seriously now. Because when I look back at my own life as a child, and I realized that, for the first time growing up, I had gotten my hair straightened and my hair was all the way to my hips. And I remember I had an African-American teacher, and I think I had just moved my hair like this to the back. And she looked at me and she said, "You think you all that? Get out of my class and go to the next room." And as an 8-year-old little girl, because I pushed my hair from the front to the back, I was kicked out of class. Seeing how teachers would, just treat me. For instance, me and a little girl, one time in the 3rd grade, we had a disagreement. Teacher kicked me out of the room. We go out of the room. She's like, "Oh, what's your nationality?" And me being, the smart mouth little kid I was like, "Mind your business." But at the same time, as a teacher now, I'm realizing that those things weren't right. Those things were wrong, for how teachers treated me. And I still remember those things as a 26-year-old woman. Those things affected me, being isolated, being left out, being targeted. And I kind of experienced, those same attributes from previous bosses in the workplace who would remind me of those same teachers. And so now as a teacher, I give my all to my students. I teach them right from wrong. I teach them how to communicate and how to not shut down and be silent. I teach them, what's fair, what's unfair. I treat them with respect. Even when I discipline my kids, I make sure that, I'm not putting them down or discouraging them. I'm making sure that they understand what you did was not right. So I want you to do better because I know that you're capable. So how about we apologize to our friends and we try to do better next time? Like, there's a way that you talk to students instead of making them feel, that they're wrong or kicking them out of a classroom. Because one thing that I notice, especially as a pre-K teacher, how I treat my students and what I do to them, what I say to them, 20 years from now, they're going to remember that. The same way I remember what happened to me 15 years ago, they're going to remember that. And when they remember Star, and I'll probably have my own TV show by then, I want them to remember Star as being a teacher who cared, a teacher who was positive, and a teacher who always made them feel capable. So I want you guys to think about this. I know some kids may be very annoying, very stubborn, don't listen, but before you react out in anger, think about it. The person that you are showing them, the image that you're portraying to them, is this how you want to be remembered? Because they might make a YouTube channel and talk about it, but our inner child is so important for us to reconnect with. We got to make peace with that version of ourselves that we've left behind, but we've never mended. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please try the challenge. Talk to a picture of yourself, write down your childhood traumas and wounds, pray for healing, make peace with it, and do the things that make you happy. What made you happy as a child? Recreate those moments. feel those nostalgic feelings, and breathe. And how about us as adults? Let's try to be happy just for being alive, just for being outside, just for existing. You don't need others to feel happy. You need you, okay? I love you guys. And until next time, this is Star TV. Peace.